Now, in my last little video, I talked about muscle testing. And muscle testing is like the best thing to learn for when you are trying to make decisions, when you're trying to make choices, right? So, assuming that you've already watched the one about being in the now with the hand on top of your head, right? And the muscle testing, one-handed like this. The next question is, well, how do we ask questions? Because your system is set up like a computer so that it automatically wants to answer questions. Yeah? That's how we learn things. That's how we make decisions. Oh, decisions. And the thing is, most of us run our decision making through our mind, our mental mind, which is actually not the best way to do it. That's a very limited way to do it. So a better way to do it is to use your muscle testing. However, then you need to know what are the right questions to ask. Makes sense, right? I mean, so just like your computer, your system does not respond well to why questions. You know, if you type into your laptop, like this laptop I'm sitting in front of right now, if I say, why are you doing this? Or why are you not doing this? You know, it's just going to go looking for the answer until it crashes because there isn't an answer there. It doesn't have the architecture to answer that kind of question. Well, the same is really true of us as human beings. And this is why we get stuck in these little circles of why. No. Okay. If you take only one thing away from these little videos, it's to ask the right questions. So we're taking why questions off the table, okay? But even the most complex situation, you can reduce to a series of yes-no questions. So muscle testing is excellent for yes-no questions. Yeah? And if for some reason you're struggling with your muscle testing, if you're a sacral generator in human design, you can just rely on your gut. Your gut is going to go, or right? And that's obviously a yes and a no, respectively. But the trick is to ask the right questions. The questions are always ones about alignment with your divine blueprint. Okay? So just take my word for it for the moment that you have a divine blueprint. I'll do another little video on that. So when someone approaches me to work with me, hooray! Yeah? And our automatic human response is to work with anybody who asks us, right? I always ask, is it obedient? Is it in alignment with my divine blueprint to work with this person? Is it in alignment with their divine blueprint for that person to work with me? Is it in alignment with kind of the overall plan of things for us to work together? Because I have learned in 28 years that if it's not obedient, that's all obedience means, is it in alignment? If it's not in alignment, then there's going to be trouble. And it usually lands on me. And I don't like that. I mean, who would? So never assume. Always ask. I mean, it takes what, 2 seconds? It's obedient for me to work with Joe Bloggs. No. Yeah? It's obedient for me to work with, Jane Jones. Yes. You see what I'm doing with the muscle testing? Very simple. But the questions have got to be answerable with a yes or a no. That's the key part. And the way we ask them is important. We need to ask questions that are in the now, not in the past, not in the future, right? And just even the intonation is important. So you'll hear me say, it's obedient for me to do and. Yeah, so I'm saying it as a statement because that's what my computer's like. They like statements, but I'm just putting that little lift in the end, which in English signifies it's a question rather than a statement. It's obedient for me to eat dinner at my friend Michael's house tonight. That's a yes. It's obedient for me to go out to dinner tonight. That's a no. Yeah? So even little questions, just to get you accustomed to asking the right questions, hearing the feedback, and acting on it. Because, it's all very well asking the questions and using your muscle testing, but if you don't actually do what is in alignment, then it's kind of a waste of time. But I'm sure you see that already. So go forth and practice using the right questions. Sometimes you'll just get a neutral, and that means not the right question. Sometimes the best question is, what's the best question? I mean, that's a question, right? And then you listen. You go really quiet inside and you listen and let yourself be surprised. Because there may be something that you have not been thinking about. See you in the next one. Bye.